Survival wasn't a choice. It was the only way. In Oak Park, where the streets test you daily, you either move smart or get swallowed by the game. And sometimes all it takes is one spark to turn survival into something educational. Growing up in a town in the 90s was rough. Hella crimes. The numbers say most don't make it out. Caught up in crimes, locked up, or worse. But stats don't define us, resilience does. Breakdancing graffiti was more than just a hobby. It was an identity, a way to take roots within my Khmer history. Spray can art can turn into a tattoo machine, telling stories that don't fade, stories of pain, struggle, and culture. Ink is a reminder for the ones who come from where I come from, that we can flip struggle into art, into business, into legacy. You know, people always say, how do you survive Oakland? And I would tell them I survived it through art and dancing. And people today might laugh, but it's the truth, you know? Gang violence, drug addiction, and prostitution, especially well off within the area where I grew up at between Foothill and East 14, which is now called International. Being Cambodian American was automatically, affiliated with gang association. Luckily, I grew up in a community where full of Cambodians, immigrants that is, so I didn't feel like I was an outsider in a sense. It was a very vibrant community. Being as an artist, I knew I had the tool to educate folks. And by doing that is to art through murals, make folks understand that we're just not who you depict us. So I definitely want to change the demographic of Cambodian Americans and not be portrayed as gang violence or whatnot, and also a very different people. Now it led to a whole, me switching my thinking process to how can we change this whole outlook? And in order the way to do that, why not start off with something that I guess I was good at the time, which was through art and through dancing. Right around late 90s to early 2000, we formed a crew called Ground Effects. And it was a very well diverse crew with, Chicanos and African Americans and different part of Asians, So I think at the time we were the only diverse crew in Oakland. But, for us, it was a way to self-express and get away from all these gang violence that were within our community, It turned into more of a brotherhood in a sense. We didn't see colors, we see, family.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Tim. I'm one of the original members from KS and Ground Effect crew. Yeah, so I grew up in Oak Park. It's located in Oakland. It's an apartment building full of refugees. And most of us didn't have a lot. People around me joining gangs. See people did drugs. I try to find something to do, like breakdancing and doing graffiti and stuff like that, instead of being stuck at Oak Park doing like absolutely nothing. And then we started clicking up, dancing, and it was like, the way of life, and it was like fun, something to do. We was able to go out there and find other ways to get out from all the challenge that we had to face.
When we got into dancing, all we knew was just, breakdancing. And we, before we didn't know any history about it, we just thought it was cool. Because we saw the neighborhood kids did it before us. It was a group called Street Poppers. Well, shout out to Street Poppers. Yeah, they were definitely, as far as in our neighborhood, like the pioneers that actually gave us a glimpse into this world of dancing. And definitely inspired us neighborhood kids to like, hey, this is pretty dope. This is something that we can try to learn. So when Ground Effects was formed, we were just trying to fit in, start something within our own. But as we got deeper into the roots of hip hop, we learned that there's a four element of hip hop, and that is from breakdancing, graffiti arts, MCing, and then DJing. So which was cool. And for us, I don't think we had anyone that were skillful to do DJs because the equipment was so expensive. We're a bunch of poor kids, so we couldn't afford that. And as far as MC, we had a few guys who knew how to rap, but weren't, but all that good, but dancing and art was something that we could definitely, we could progress, right? And then, so once we learned graffiti artists was actually also was part of the four elements of hip hop, we were like, yo, let's try this out. So we went from the transition of just dancing to graph to went ahead and formed our own crew, was KS Crew. It started in the neighborhood kids, so it was four, Cambodian brothers. But our crew expanded and, it opened door to different ethnicities, so that was cool, right? We didn't want to just keep it a Cambodian-based or Southeast Asian-based crew, and we just want to strictly stick it to, this is open door, whatever we accept along the way, just like we're breaking, right? So the meaning of creative structure was individuals come together and create a sort of foundation in a way, and to express themselves. But it definitely saved a lot of lives too. Start off with myself, Pia, Sam, Dar, Jesse, I believe that was there.
Once you get exposed to breakdancing, you see graffiti on videotapes, DVDs. When you see B-boy writing, you'll see it in graffiti letters. Yeah, after we used to breakdance, we would go hit up the train track with poppy markers, spray paint, and go tag up because we had nothing else to do.
Yeah, it was something we just, for fun. We started tagging in our neighborhoods and whatnot. We didn't know how this thing works. We just thought that just go around the neighborhood and maybe, rep your crew or whatever. We got schooled by some of our older peers, and that's when we learned, okay, there's more to it than just, wrecking your neighborhood. We saw that it was a way of you could expand this in a whole other form, which is also paint a depict of what our culture is really all about. It gives us an outlet to another way to self-express. It's almost like telling a story in the art form, in a sense. Tattooing never really crossed my mind as far as doing it. It kind of, turned into this whole, I guess, beautiful accident.
So I have friends that are tattoo artists. They knew I had potential becoming a tattoo artist due to the creative aspect that I gained from doing graffiti.
The moment I knew it was in my heart to do tattoo and make it a career was when it became more of a passion. So then, and after that, you see your clients walk around with your work and they get the word out, and then you have other people coming to visit you. They're like, hey, my friend referred me to you. Tattooing also gave me a way of the freedom to create, to put as far as some of my aspect into the design and whatnot, only if they let me. So it all depends, right? But once I get a chance, I'm going ham.
Definitely quite a journey and something I'm truly grateful for. I just hope young folks can, get opportunity to do the same thing as well for one day, running and operating their own businesses and whatnot, because if I can do it, you can do it.
Well, if I can pass a message to the next generation is if you feel like you can't get out of something, you can. There's a lot of opportunity out there. You just gotta find it, whatever your passion is, do it. Go out there and do it.
If one person is inspired by my story, then every single line I have ever drawn was worth it.